I was cutting my daughter's peanut butter sandwich into little star shapes when my phone rang. Emma. She's 5. She only eats sandwiches if they're stars or hearts or some other shape that makes lunch feel magical. I almost didn't answer. I was in my happy place. Domestic bliss, kitchen sunlight, my daughter humming some song from Frozen while she colored. But it was Dr. Chen. The same Dr. Chen who saved my life 3 years ago when they found the lump in my breast. The same Dr. Chen who held my hand when I was bald and sick and convinced I was going to leave my babies motherless. So I answered, "Sarah, I need you to come in. The scan results, we need to talk." I knew, God help me, I knew from the way her voice cracked on my name. The same crack from 3 years ago when she first said the word cancer. But this time felt different, final. I hung up and kept cutting Emma's sandwich into perfect little stars, my hands trembling so badly I nearly cut myself. Emma looked up at me with those enormous brown eyes, David's eyes, the man who married a cancer survivor and her 2 kids 6 months ago because he said broken people love the hardest. "Mommy, why are you crying?" I wasn't even aware I was crying. But there I was, tears falling onto a peanut butter sandwich, trying to smile at my baby girl like my world hadn't just imploded again. Happy tears, sweetheart. Mommy just loves you so much it makes her cry sometimes. Lie number 1 of what I knew would be countless lies to come. That afternoon I sat in the same office where I'd celebrated remission 18 months ago. Same ugly green chairs, same motivational posters about fighting and surviving. Same doctor who I thought was my hero. "It's a glioblastoma," Dr. Chen said, her hands folded in that careful way doctors learn when they're about to destroy someone's life. "Brain tumor, very aggressive. The headaches you've been having, the memory issues you mentioned." I stopped listening after 8 to 12 months. The rest was white noise, treatment options that wouldn't save me, clinical trials that might buy me time, palliative care, quality of life considerations. All I could think about was Emma's sandwich cut into perfect stars and how she'd eaten every single piece while I was in here learning how to die. "Sarah, do you have any questions?" Questions? I had a million questions. Why now when I finally felt safe? Why now when David and I just bought a house with a swing set in the backyard? Why now when my 7-year-old son Jake just started calling David Dad? Why now when I finally believed that maybe, just maybe, the universe was done punishing me? But I only asked one. How do I tell them? The drive home was the longest 23 minutes of my life. I kept thinking about the conversation David and I had on our wedding day. He'd pulled me aside during our reception, nothing fancy, just family and close friends in my backyard, and whispered, "I know you're scared this is too good to be true, but I'm not going anywhere. We're going to grow old together, Sarah, all of us. Grow old together." What a beautiful lie we told ourselves. I pulled into our driveway and just sat there, staring at the house that was supposed to be our forever home. Through the living room window I could see David helping Jake with his homework while Emma built something elaborate with Legos. Such a normal, perfect moment. The last normal moment we'd ever have. I thought about the first time I had cancer, when the kids were 3 and 1. I was a single mom then, terrified and alone, fighting for my life while trying to pretend everything was fine. The chemo made me so sick I couldn't lift Emma out of her crib some days. Jake would bring me crackers and pat my head like I was the child. I survived that hell, we all did, and slowly, carefully, we built something beautiful from the wreckage. I met David. We fell in love. The kids adored him. We became a family. We bought this house. We made plans. We talked about maybe having another baby next year. Next year. The year I'll spend dying. That night, after the kids were asleep, I told David. We were in our bathroom, such a stupid place for such a devastating conversation, and I watched his face crumble in the mirror behind me. "No," he said, like he could argue with cancer. "No, that's not. We just got married. No." I held him while he sobbed. This strong man who'd promised to love us through anything, who never signed up to be a widower at 36, who never signed up to raise 2 kids who weren't biologically his, while grieving the woman who brought them all together. "I can't do this without you," he whispered into my hair. "You won't have to," I lied. Lie number 2. The next few weeks were a master class in pretending. pretending the experimental treatment might work, pretending the side effects weren't getting worse, pretending I wasn't terrified every time I looked at my children, trying to memorize their faces, their laughs, the way they smelled after baths. Emma started having nightmares. Kids sense things, even when you think you're protecting them. She'd crawl into our bed at 3 a.m., press her tiny hand to my forehead like she was checking for fever, and ask, "Are you sick again, Mommy?" "Just tired, baby." Lie number 47. Or maybe it was 53, I'd stopped counting. Jake knew. 7-year-olds are too smart for their own good. He stopped asking about our summer vacation plans, started being extra good, extra helpful, like if he was perfect enough, maybe God would let me stay. I started making videos, hundreds of them. Bedtime stories for when I couldn't read to them anymore. Advice for their first heartbreaks, their graduation days, their wedding days. Instructions for David about Emma's fear of thunderstorms and Jake's anxiety about new situations. I recorded myself singing their favorite lullabies, knowing my voice would crack and fade, but hoping they'd remember the love behind the broken notes. The cruelest part isn't the dying, it's the math. Emma is 5. If I get my full year, she'll be 6 when I leave. Will she remember me when she's 16? Will she remember that I made her sandwiches into stars, that I sang "You Are My Sunshine" every night before bed? Jake is 7, old enough to remember, too young to understand, old enough to be angry, too young to process grief properly. He'll be 8 when I die. Still a baby, really, still needing his mom. And David, my beautiful, broken David, who thought he was rescuing us but ended up needing rescue himself. He'll be a single father to 2 kids who aren't his blood but might as well be, carrying the weight of their grief and his own. 3 years ago I fought cancer and won. I rang the bell. I celebrated. I thought I'd paid my dues to the universe. I thought I'd earned my happily ever after. But the universe doesn't work that way, does it? Survival isn't a transaction. You don't get to cash in your suffering for a guarantee that nothing else will go wrong. I survived breast cancer only to die of brain cancer. I fought my way back from the brink only to be pushed over a different cliff. I found love and family and home only to have it all ripped away just when it felt permanent. The truly devastating part? For 18 months, I believed I was safe. I let myself plan, I let myself hope, I let myself love without reservation, thinking the worst was behind us. I was wrong. The worst was just wearing a different face. But here's what I've learned in these final months. Even when time is limited, even when the ending is written in shadows you can't escape, love still matters. Maybe it matters more. Every star-shaped sandwich I cut for Emma is an act of defiance against death. Every homework session with Jake is me stealing moments the tumor can't have. Every night I fall asleep in David's arms is a small victory over the void. I won't see my children grow up. I won't grow old with the man who promised me forever. I won't get the long, ordinary life I fought so hard to protect. But I love them. God, how I love them. Fierce and desperate and completely, and maybe when the mathematics of mortality finally claim that love will be enough to carry them through the dark. Maybe love is the only thing that survives terminal diagnoses. Maybe it's the only thing that was ever meant to.